The purpose of this video is to go over the attendance policy rolled out in the Employee Policy Guide. We will highlight some key points that you should know in regards to the attendance policy. This training will provide some insightful information and best practices to help supervisors identify best practices to reduce and/or address a pattern of attendance issue. The key word here is pattern and excessive. If you feel you have one of these situations, please contact Human Resources. We will now go over the attendance policy. There are some newly added features to the existing policy that we will now review. The opening paragraphs address the standards that are established for general attendance expectations for LS&S employees while providing guidelines for managing absences and tardies. LS&S attendance policy is designed to address a pattern of attendance issues, not isolated for infrequent incidences. Newly added to the attendance policy is an attendance point system. We will go over the definitions for scheduled absence, unscheduled absence, tardies, and leaving early, no call, no show. We will address each occurrence and the point system. A scheduled absence is any time away from work that has been requested and approved in advance. Advance notice of at least 24 hours is required for the time off to be considered a scheduled absence. It's important that the employee communicates with their supervisor anytime they feel they may not be able to report for work. An unscheduled absence is any unscheduled time away from work for which the employee did not request time off in advance as defined in the previous slide. Late arrivals and early departures of 2 hours or more consecutive hours of work during normal workday will be considered an absent, not a tardy. An important element to an unscheduled absence is, while sick leave may be paid for hours, days missed to address a medical need, it may count as an occurrence if and only if a pattern of sick leave is shown. In the previous slide, it is mentioned that it may count as an occurrence if a pattern of sick leave is shown. An employee is entitled to sick leave. Keep in mind that if a pattern exists, contact the Human Resources Department for advisement on how to handle this situation. A tardy is not being ready to work at the start of a scheduled shift, not returning for meals on time, or any late arrival or early departure of less than 2 hours at the beginning or the end of a workday without prior approval. Please note that if an employee is out for 3 consecutive days, this will account for 1 point. However, the employee will have to bring in documentation letting us know that they are free from any restrictions and ready to return to work. Not reporting to work and not calling to report an absence is a no-call, no-show and is a serious matter. The first instance of a no-call, no-show will result in a final written warning. The second offense within 12 months period will result in termination of employment with no additional steps. The last slide discussed no call, no show. However, if an employee is out for more than 3 consecutive scheduled shifts, it is considered job abandonment and will result in immediate termination of employment. At the discretion of management, alternative forms of communication will be acceptable depending on each location. In the previous slides, you may have noticed a point assigned with an attendance definitions. We will now go over the occurrences along with the point system and how it works. When you have reached 3 points or 3 occurrences, the level of action to be taken is a verbal warning using the corrective action form. At 6 points, or 6 occurrences, the level of action to be taken is a written warning using the corrective action form. 9 points, or 9 occurrences, the level of action to be taken is final written warning using the corrective action form. 12 occurrences, or 12 points, the level of action to be taken is termination using the corrective action form. As a manager, supervisor, or director, keep in mind that you do not want to skip steps. The purpose of having this process is to show progression. For example, you do not ever want to accumulate occurrences or points and move forward to a final written warning. It should show progression as stated in the corrective action process. An attendance log can help you track points and occurrences. This form is located on the internet at Inside LS&S. When you have reached your first 3 points or occurrences, please contact the Human Resources Department for further instruction. For known or anticipated health issues, an employee is required to notify his or her supervisor and Human Resources of the matters as far as in advance as possible, and the employee's supervisor will work with the Human Resources representative to determine if the absence should be excused. If you have any questions regarding this video or the attendance policy, please contact Maria Ariza at maria.ariza@lsslibraries.com.